Californians for the Arts
You're doing great.
has arranged for all meetings today to offer captioning. If you would like to turn that off, that feature can be turned off on your control bar in your Zoom. I want to direct everyone also today to the chat box located at the bottom of your Zoom screen. During this webinar, this will be the best way to communicate with your fellow participants as well as the panelists today. Please go ahead and test it out by introducing yourself and sharing how you're affiliated with the arts community, maybe where you're located, what your favorite session was today. Just like in-person meetings, Californians for the Arts expects that all attendees represent themselves and treat co-attendees with mutual respect. As you review the slides on the screen, understand that Californians for the Arts recognizes that radical change is required to address the centuries of racial, economic, social, and cultural injustice in our state and in our country. As the only comprehensive multidisciplinary organization focused on advancing and building public awareness of the value and impact of arts, culture, and creativity in California, we acknowledge the necessity of conducting ourselves with attention to these histories and their ongoing impacts. During the program today, the chat box will remain open to the entire session. The session is being recorded, and I want to thank Charles McPherson for sharing and serving as our opening music. At this time, I want to introduce Julie Baker, Executive Director for Californians for the Arts.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for so many of you being with us throughout the day. It's been a terrific virtual convening, our second virtual one. Of course, we'd much prefer to be seeing you all in person, but there is something wonderful about being able to do this from the comfort of our homes and being able to do this for free. And we really do try to keep all of our programs free so that it's accessible for everybody. It's been really just, the sessions I've sat in on, and I hope that you've been able to attend many of them throughout the day. All of them have been recorded, so as you've registered, you'll get a copy of those in your email in the next couple of days, and share those out with your friends. There's some incredible commentary all day long. A lot of what I heard was around the power of coalition building, the power of us as speaking with one voice and showing up as an industry, and how that has really changed in this last year. The focus on arts workers and that arts is labor, and that art should be valued in the same way as any other type of labor, that artists should be integrated into all aspects of social impact and be seen in those ways, and that we need to be able to tell our stories effectively. And as Speaker Rendon, who was just in our last workshop, said, you need to be able to tell your stories locally to stick in their minds, using one example of a person that has been impacted and affected in their district and by the arts. And those are some of the tidbits. Relationship building. How do we focus on racial equity in the arts? What is the impact and how can we make that difference and that change? How are we going to do this now? And really radically change the systems and structures that have come before us, and where do we go from here? And how does policy, legislation, investment, funding, how does that impact how we move forward in our work? And obviously that is the work of our organization. We really tried to stick in our lane today in terms of staying focused on advocacy. And we're really excited by this closing keynote that we're going to have, as well as some of the performances as well. Before we get to that, I want to thank our annual funders, sponsors, the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, the Kenneth Rainin Foundation, the Rosenthal Family Foundation, the Walter and Elise Haas Fund, and the California Arts Council, the state arts agency. These are the funders that really do make it possible for us to continue to keep our programs free, as well as members. You can be individual members of Californians for the Arts, and you can be organizational members of California Arts Advocates, which is our lobbying partner, and you can then support direct lobbying in Sacramento, where we represent your interests. We also want to thank our 2021 convening sponsors, the Claire Rose Foundation, Jill G. Hall, Arts and Culture, City of Sacramento, Arts for LA, and West Staff. Without them, again, we couldn't make this event free. And also we paid every one of the artists that performed throughout today, and every person was offered a stipend to speak. It's critically important that we pay artists, so we do not ask them to do anything for free. I now want to, I think I'm bringing up a poll. We wanted to see which session today was most impactful for you as an arts advocate. If you were able to attend other sessions other than now, please enter that into the poll. And that just gives us an idea of how today went for you. We try not to do too many after the event surveys because we find that actually it's better if we do it in the moment.
Let's just give it about 30 more seconds. Let's just give about let's give it 10 or 15 more seconds so everyone has a chance to vote. And then we have one more poll that kind of takes the temperature of how confident of an arts advocate are we as a group, and have we grown? So will that poll be coming up soon? And that is the voice of Jessica Monahan. Jessica has her own events business. We realized probably 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, that between all the activities that we're doing throughout the month in Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, Arts Advocacy Week, the direct lobbying that we're doing, the California Relief Grant Program, advising that we're doing, that we really didn't have the bandwidth to, on our own team at that moment, to really stage manage this event. So Jessica jumped in at the very last minute and has been a phenomenal force for us to get this done. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you to the whole team at Californians for the Arts for making today possible. And thank you for everyone who's shown up. And I hope some of you are sitting around, maybe enjoying a soda, a bubbly water, a glass of wine, your favorite tequila, whatever it may be, as we end today in unity around advocacy for the arts. So we're going to finish that poll, and then it's going to be my pleasure to introduce our board president, Victoria Hamilton, and bring her back to the virtual stage, as it were, for her comments around what we're doing this year in terms of our advocacy. Victoria?
Wow, this has been amazing. I've been to arts convenings, statewide and national, for, I don't know, 1,000 years. This is over the top. Thank you, Julie, and thank you, staff. And thank you for allowing me to dedicate our work for Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month and our advocacy work to Larry Baza and his legacy as an arts leader. His leadership, uplifted administrators of color through a fellowship program, individual artist fellowships, an amazing program, and a leadership role in pivoting the grants program so that general operating relief could be provided to artists and cultural organizations right away. Just a little bit about Larry. He's a really good friend of mine. He was the chair of the Commission for Arts and Culture in San Diego and the chair of the California Arts Council, and he passed away from COVID. His accomplishments have been deep. He's recognized as an arts warrior, a change maker, a community leader, a diplomat, and a champion of social justice, and a fierce advocate for individual artists and small budget organizations. He brought joy and light in every room that he occupied. Rest in peace, Larry. We love you.
Okay, this is the fourth
Larry
time
T.
I've
Baza
cried
was in
today. Thank you. And here is a video. Go ahead. A video
native
from our
San Diegan, a pillar of the arts community, both regionally and at the state level, as well as a fierce social justice advocate. He passed away on February 20th, 2021 at the age of 76 due to COVID-19. I was proud to appoint Larry to the California Arts Council while Assembly Speaker in February of 2016, and I reappointed him as Senate President Pro Tem in January of 2020. He was just elected Council Chair on December 2nd, 2020. Locally, it was my mentor, former San Diego City Council member Christine Kehoe and Senator Kehoe, who tapped him to serve with San Diego Pride in the 1980s. He also served with the San Diego LGBTQ Community Center, San Diego Democrats for Equality, the San Diego Community Foundation, and the National Endowment for the Arts, just to name a few. From Chicano Park to Balboa Park, Larry's legacy of art and philanthropy lives on. Rest in power, my friend. Larry T. Baza was a native.
Thank you, and thank you, Victoria, and thank you for your leadership of Californians for the Arts as our board president. And thank you to the Senator Toni Atkins for that which she did on the floor of the Senate in memory of Larry Baza. It's now my pleasure to introduce some fabulous humans, Hector Flores, Denise Carlos, and Daniel French, or as better known as Frenchie, to the stage. So if we want to just thank them for coming here today. They are from the band Las Cafeteras, which is described by the LA Times as unique. Oh, I thought I was looking for something on my printer. Uniquely Angelino mishmash of punk, hip hop, beat music, cumbia, and rock. Live, they're magnetic. And I can tell you that is true because in the past, when I was a presenter in my past career, and I ran California World Fest and I ran the Center for the Arts, Las Cafeteras was a band I was so proud to bring to Grass Valley, California, and had so many fantastic memories of their performances and who they are as humans. They're just really warm and wonderful people. And I recall Hector in particular. I was the executive director and my whole team almost was all women. And at one point at the end of the weekend, Hector came and he grabbed my hands and he got down and it was dirt, you know, it's August and July and in Northern California. He took my hands and he said, you know, I was raised by a single mother. And he said, you guys, this power here that you have with women is really fantastic. And he, I mean, I'm not quoting you directly, Hector, but it was beautiful what you had to say. And it really touched me because to be recognized in that way was wonderful. So thank you. But when I was trying to think about what we could do for the closing to inspire people, to talk to people about artists and activism, talk about the impact of artists in terms of social justice and how they can be engaged and how they are engaged in that and how critical they are to movement building, I couldn't think of a better band to bring than Las Cafeteras and to showcase some of the work that they've been doing. So to start us off, what I'd like to do before I introduce specifically Hector, I'd like to show you a video collaboration between Las Cafeteras and Contratiempo Dance Company that was created in the middle of the pandemic as an example of the storytelling conversation they'll be engaging in and featuring poet-dancer Jasmine Stanley. So check this out.
We ran to be free. We ran to heal. We ran to live. We are free. We understand our worth and our value. I have the right to play in a park. I have the right to drive. I have the right to breathe. I have the right to wear a hoodie with Skittles hanging out my back pocket, bend over to tie my shoelaces and not get killed. I have the right to go for a run in my neighborhood and not get killed because my life matters. We run to make you see us. You can't break us that easily, you see, because we've been running for generations, becoming scholars, leaders, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, becoming athletes, artists, educators, change makers. We are love, and we won't stop. we will continue to live and embody all that we were born to be. And so we keep dancing, we keep singing, we keep chanting, we keep marching, writing, praying, fighting, running until we win. And we will win.
Go, Hector.
Check, check, 1, 2, check, check, 1, 2. Change the story, you change the game. You change the story, you change the game. When the pandemic hit, like everybody, it was March 2020. For that month, I was talking to some artist friends, and we just remember getting email after email after email, canceled, 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 over, not gonna happen, right? Like it was a nightmare. We've been working 10 years to get to this point, and all of a sudden, in the matter of weeks, we saw everything go away, and we were stuck, just like many folks, as artists, you know. And we knew where we were in the ladder. We were not, art is not seen as essential work, you know. And but this video was created by our drummer. Our drummer put this together. We were touring with Contratiempo, who's an Afro-Latina dance company, and he helped put that together. And when he did this video, it reminded us about our role as artists. So, you know, we tour 4 to 5 months out of the year, and a lot of our work is really about, you know, our identity kind of got wrapped up into touring. And when that got taken away, there was a reflection around like, well, shit, well, who am I? What are we? And this video really changed it because it allowed us to reflect. And there's one, I want to share a quote that Jose, you know, who put this together, he said, well, when you can't go out, we got to go in. And that was so dope when he said that. And it really was like, all right, well, who are we? And at the end of the day, we had to remember that we were artists. And what are artists? We're storytellers. And what do storytellers do? Well, like we're keepers of the flame. You know, we remind people of who we are, you know, and we're not only historians, we're her historians. We're our historians. And so I want to engage. So we got about, let me see, we got about 64 people up here on this chat. So we're going to do this first exercise called Where You From. So where you from? So what I want people to do, I want you to answer 3 questions in the chats right here. And so the first question, I'm going to write in the chat just in case. So the first one I want you to write, not yet, don't wait. Okay, wait over here. I want you to write your full name. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to write where you were born. But don't say California, that's boring. Don't say Mexico. No, I want you to say the city, the name of the hospital, the time, even your sign. Just those quick little tidbits. And I also want you to share where your parents were born. And if you were not raised by your parents, who your caretakers were, or whoever raised you, where were they born? And again, try to be specific. The hospital, the pueblo, the time, the town, just really quick. So when I say go, I want that chat. I want to see that chat filled up with your information. As me, Denise, and Daniel share where we're from. Here we go. Yes, Jennifer, have your son participate. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, chat it up. Go for it. My name is Hector Paul Flores, even though my parents call me Pablo. I was born in a little barrio in East LA called City Terrace, 139 North Humphreys Boulevard at Santa Marta Hospital. 5:45 p.m. I'm a Leo. My mama's from Morelia, Michoacan, Mexico. I don't know the name of the hospital. My dad's from a little pueblo right under the border called San Luis Rio Colorado at the top of Sonora, just under Arizona. I don't know the hospital he was born in. I'm going to pass it on. Denise Carlos, go for it.
I was being a chismosa on the chat again. I was like, focus. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having us. Thank you for the work you all do. I'm excited that we are part of the conversation, and I'm excited to be engaging in some storytelling with you all. My name is Denise Carlos. I was born in Monterey Park, which is East of East LA, raised in Southeast LA. My mom is from Jalisco, Mexico. one of 11 siblings. And my father is from Mexicali in Baja California. He is the first in his family to ever be born in a hospital and was taken back home on horse carriage. And that's all I know about that. Hit it, Frenchie.
Hey, Sego, Sewaguego, Daniel Joel French, Daniel Joel Jesus French, Niwak Sanota, Kanyagahaka, Tanu Raramuri, Niwago Joda, Los Angeles Giderdo, Tanu Gahnawage Giderdo. So my name is Daniel Joel French, Daniel Joel Jesus French. I got so many names, I stumble on them sometimes. And in Mohawk, I was just saying that that's my name, that I'm Mohawk as well as Raramuri. And I'm so happy to be here with y'all today. My parents were both born in the United States, in California and Florida. I was born in Monterey Park at the same hospital as Denise, so at Garfield Medical Center. And in January 24th, I'm an Aquarius. And I don't know. That's all I got to say, I think. Did I cover the bases? Am I covered?
Oh, you good in the hood. You good in the hood, bro. So I want everybody, if you have already submitted your information, I want you to go in that chat and I want you to see what our community is made of right now. And it's beautiful. We got folks with roots out in Germany. Scheisse. We got Marianne Ceballos, who's from the same pueblo as my father, San Luis Rio Colorado. Orale, I want to meet you after. But we got folks, we got Guatemala in the house, que viva los chapines, chapinas. We got all over Mexico. We got Glendale. We're on Tongva territory. We got Norway in the house. We got Africa, West Africa. We got the Philippines. Orale, Casamas. It's beautiful. We got Vietnam. So if you can see this, what I want folks to really elevate right here is just what we're starting to do is that, we come from different places. We have different faces. Some of us grew up wearing braces, and some of us still trying to tie our shoelaces. And what a beautiful, beautiful thing. We're all the same because we're all different. And that's something that I think for us, as we're LA kids, but we've traveled around the country, throughout Canada, throughout Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. And part of the work that we are doing as storytellers is really unveiling who we are as people. Like, we play music that's Afro-Mexican. It's African, indigenous, Spanish, Arabic, beats, rhythms, and rhymes. The music is a mix, and so are we. And so thank you, everybody, for chiming in. We got a lot of things in here. Thank you. All right, here's the next question. All right, for everybody out here. I can't see everybody, but have you seen the movie Coco? Put up your hand. Julie, did you see Coco? Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Did you watch Game of Thrones? Raise up your hand. Okay. All right. For everybody except Julie, I'm going to ask you a question right here.
Leave Julie alone. She's a busy woman.
That's right. That's what when you're a boss, you can't watch all these things.
Coco's on the list. Not so much Game of Thrones.
Okay, so here we go. Here's my question. The first person to get it correct in the chat gets a free churro at Costco right now, okay? After this workshop. Here we go. In the movie Coco or in Game of Thrones, what is the ultimate death? I want you to write it in the chat. What is the ultimate death? Jennifer Lane. Jennifer Lane, you have a cinnamony churro waiting for you at Costco right here. Yes. The ultimate death is being forgotten. Right? That's how we forget. Right? Now, my second question is, how does somebody get forgotten? Julie, you can answer that one right there. You didn't have to watch a movie. How does somebody get forgotten? So if the ultimate death is being forgotten, how does someone get forgotten? Not being placed on the altar, no stories about them, you unfollow them on Instagram, when not a loved one comes back for you, when people stop talking about you. Yes, all those. We play a song called La Bamba. La Bamba is a 400-year-old Afro-Mexican song. Now, how do we still know verses to a song that's 400 years old? When people were not sent to school, when people didn't know how to read or write, unless you were part of the elite class. How do we know verses of La Bamba that's 400 years old? What did people do? They passed, Sandra, yes, they passed on the verses. They sang the verses. They danced the song. Oral traditions. They pass it on, right? Today, there's a lot of, we're documenting, but we're not remembering. And so what I really want to highlight is that us as cafeteros, we're storytellers. But we really want to let everybody know is so are you. Everybody is a storyteller. And the first story you have to master is your own. And when you master your story, when you understand who you are, where you come from, you're going to uncover pain, you're going to uncover beautiful things as well as very harsh things. And you're going to develop this thing called empathy, because you're going to understand that everybody has a story and everybody has pain and everybody has beauty. And we've all gone through that as humans, right? And so that's something we want to really elevate as storytellers in the work that we do. And so to take it back to the exercise, before I pass it on to Frenchie and Denise, if you don't know where you were born, the hospital, the time, the address, who's going to tell your story 400 years from now, 100 years from now? If you don't know where your mama was born, the time, the address, the hospital, who's going to tell your mama's story 400 years from now, 100 years from now? And that's our work, because this country is made up of stories. And the more stories that are shown and shared, the more we start to knock down these walls that we call racism and stereotypes and assumptions. We start to build an understanding that, man, we have different faces, come from different places, and all kinds of things, right? And so that's kind of like, for us, the quarantine reminded us of our role, the role of the artist, the role of the storyteller, the role of connection, the role of solidarity, and the work we had to do in order to do that. So Run with Ahmad was part of that. That's a story that's being told. What's the story of Black people being told in the United States right now? That story takes over people's imagination, and it allows us to treat people differently because of the story that's being told. What's the story of women, women of color, of indigenous people? Those are the stories that we have to write. And so that was my revelation in quarantine, to do the work. I want to pass it on to Denise and Carlos, to Denise and Frenchie. Denise, I'll start off with you and then I'll pass it on to Frenchie. In quarantine, what was your biggest revelation and reflection, not as a cafetera, but as an artist and as a storyteller? What would you share in that?
Thank you. It's interesting when your full identity becomes your work, right? I think the revelation for me was the need for time, was the need for introspection, was that I, as a person that is a member of my own community, needed to listen to the messages that we kept pouring out of ourselves, right? We often say that la cultura cura, right? Culture cures. We often say music is medicine, right? During this quarantine, I was also able to have some self-compassion and say, I need some healing too. I need some rest too. And that in the time of rest and healing, I was able to regenerate the ganas, the will, the passion, and the inner power to get out and do more, right? That I need to listen and understand what's happening in our country now. There's wounds that won't heal, right? And what is my role as a movement artist, as an activist, as a woman, right, to rise from the ashes, right, of the work? Because as artists and as touring musicians, we put our bodies on the line to do this work, to connect with people all over the country. That I needed physical healing, that I needed to do some introspection and remember my purpose as an artist, and to also honor the impact that our art and our work had, right? And that we are merely asking the questions, stating and arriving in the testimony of who we are, right? As a Chicanita, as a Pocha, as a Mexican American woman from the east side of Los Angeles, what does it mean for me to arrive in all of my brilliance all over the country? And sometimes those spaces meant, you know, Confederate flags, meant dirty looks, meant people leaving the audience, right? Getting up and leaving when we said we don't believe in borders, right? Having all that understanding, what is the impact that my art can make? And how do I get out there again, right? With more intention, with a stronger voice, and with the ammunition of understanding other people's stories. How can I be part of the solution, right? How can I be a sister in solidarity? How can I be an advocate when I'm called to be an advocate? And how can I retreat when I need some healing? And I think that's what has happened throughout this year. And I think that that we're ready. Las Cafeteras is ready to get back out there. And I always say we haven't paused. We've shifted our work. We've come back to the purpose, because I never intended to be an artist. I'm a clinical social worker by trade. I'm really interested in mental health and healing in our communities. But now I understand that it's a relationship, right? Healing happens through medicine, through music, and through movement, right? And we deserve that as part of the community. And so this is what I've come to learn in this year, and I'm merely a student of my own life. So this is what's happening now.
Órale, gracias, gracias, Carlos. Frenchie, what about you, brother? What has been your biggest reflection and revelation in this time before we move on to the next piece? Please share.
Yeah, you know, I think like everybody on this Zoom or this call or in this virtual space we're in, we've all had to face our fears. We've all had to sit with ourselves. We've all had the opportunity to look in the mirror, and you know, the second week of quarantine in March, I went and I bought some plants and I planted them, and I had this wild experience. I made a song about that. But I planted tomatoes and kale and a couple other things, and I bought like small plants at the nursery, and then those plants grew. They eventually, over the months, I kept watering them. I got food. I got some fresh kale, some fresh cherry tomatoes, and then they started to come to seed. You know, the kale flowers, and then you get the little seeds, and you can replant that. And now it's been over a year, and so now I have 3 giant tomato plants. I have kale that has seeded and planted other kale plants. I have lettuce that I thought I got rid of, but their seeds were all over, and now they're growing again. And now I intentionally started growing extra so that I would have more to share, so that with my neighbors or family, I would have something to offer and to create that goodwill and that good energy, and hopefully that health. And now one of my neighbors who's like super antisocial, super high social anxiety, I almost can't believe it, but this fool came and brought me produce from his garden. He said, yeah, you know, I mean, that's a good idea. My mom does it. You did it. I was like, you know, I guess I should plant some stuff. It gets me outside. It's good for my health. It makes me feel good. And so I think what I've learned is the power of a seed. And I want to ask everybody here to consider, what is the power of a seed? When you plant something and you water it and you do it in the right season so it can grow, how can that multiply? How can that inspire change in your community and yourself? Whether it's actual, and I'm talking about actual seeds, but of course there are seeds of ideas, seeds of dreams that you have that maybe have been sitting on the shelf, and now is the time to plant them. Now springtime is the time to grow, And so that's one thing I want to share. I could say a lot more about that, but our time here is brief, and so I just want to thank everybody for growing this conversation around art, around how we invest in art, and do it in an equitable way, so that a year from now, there's 50 more Las Cafeteras out there. There's young people who have a dream, who have gigs to walk into, who are inspired by this art, and in our communities, people can continue to get that medicine.
Orale. So my mama is the oldest of 14 kids. And so she grew up learning sign language because 6 of her brothers and sisters are deaf. So when I ask everybody clap, this is how we clap in the deaf community right here. So I want everybody to clap right here. Yay. So that's how we clap on the Zoom. If someone says something really dope and you're like, oh yeah, but it's not clapping material because they're talking, you just go like this, snap, snap. Oh, I feel that. Like we're in a New York bar, right? And then if someone says something where it's like, yo, that's BS, like that's totally not true. You know what I'm saying? Like the earth is flat, and you're like, nah. You go like this, you go like this, and you go like that. Like, yo, that's BS, Hector. That's BS. I'm gonna take that BS, I'm gonna put it in my garden, and I'm gonna grow some flowers with it. Okay? Because that's BS. So, Frenchie, thank you for sharing with that, bro. I'm gonna keep on with your garden metaphors. I like that. I like the seed. What are we doing with the seed? There's this homeboy in LA. His name is Ron Finley. He goes by the Gorilla Gardener, and he started growing gardens on his sidewalk. And people always said, "Aren't you afraid people are gonna steal your vegetables and your fruits?" And he's like, "No, I want people to steal my vegetables and fruits." And he has this really beautiful analysis of food, of life, and of his neighborhood. He said, in the 80s, South LA was dangerous because of the drive-bys. Now it's dangerous because of the drive-through. How many people are impacted by high cholesterol and diabetes and a poor diet from, these sort of cheap foods. And he said this one thing, and he said, what's been killing our people? Food. What's going to save our people? Food. It's the same thing, just how you view it, right? It's the same thing. And I think about us. I think I use the same analogy with stories. When I think about what's been killing us, is the stories about us, the way we view ourselves, the way we understand who we are, the lack of stories we have. I know more about Greek mythology and Roman history than I do about Tongva people. Gabrielinos, the Chumash, my folks, the Yaquis and the Pimas. Understanding who I am. So what's been killing us as people is our stories. And what's going to save us? Our stories. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's how we view it. It's how we tell it. It's who tells it. And I share that because, I learned that from Ron Finley, just the way to view life. It's the same thing, right? And for us, where an elder once told me, when you're a storyteller, you sit by the fire. And because it's your job to tell stories. And when you sit by the fire, though, you have to be careful because you're going to get burned. And when you get burned, don't walk away. You're going to want to get up and walk away, but don't. What's going to happen is you're going to develop a callus, right? And you're going to be able to take more fire, take more of the flame, because you have to continue your work as a storyteller. Don't get afraid. Don't get up and walk away. That's your role. So remember, when you're a storyteller, you sit by the fire. It's okay to get burned, And so I share that with you as sort of these anecdotes that we've learned along the way as storytellers. Cafeteras are different from other people, not just because we're cuter, but as we can. But we actually started off as organizers first, before musicians. I was an organizer for over 10 years in South and East LA. I met Denise doing communal organizing, Zapatista-inspired work. I met Frenchie at the South Central Farm. were trying to protect the largest urban farm in the country, 14 acres, and they were trying to take it away. Ultimately, they did, but that's where we met. And in our understanding that solidarity and collaboration were instrumental to the work we had to do. And that's how we used music, because not everybody wants to talk about politics or policy or advocacy. But what if I played you a song? What if I brought you a soup? All of a sudden, people were willing to listen. And I felt like and that's kind of how we fell in love with music, because it was able to do something that politics and policy weren't. And that was what we could do. And so I want to share with you a song called Georgia on My Mind, and then we're going to go on to a nice little freestyle. So get ready to be part of a freestyle after this.
Georgia, Georgia, the sound of you. I said, Georgia, Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, the whole day. I said, Georgia, Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. Vámonos mi gente, vamos a gozar, vámonos mi raza, vamos a ganar, vámonos mi gente, vamos a gozar, vámonos mi raza, vamos a ganar. Georgia, Georgia, the sound of you. I said, Georgia, keeping Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, Georgia, the whole day. Keeping Georgia, Georgia's on my mind.
Yo, Georgia en mi mente, Georgia para la gente, aquí está presente, listo para gozar. Vámonos para allá, vamos a votar. Que siga la lucha, dale ponte trucha. Que siga la lucha, dale ponte trucha. Que siga la lucha.
So Stacey Abrams said, "Who are those cuties, las cafeteras out of L.A.? We gotta win a campaign." So they put the call out. So it's 5:44. We're getting a little bit close to the end right here. We want to do something special with y'all, because we still get, it's been a long day. And so we wanted to do something live, not pre-recorded, and so Frenchie right here, our boy Frenchie's got the gift of gab. I'm a poet, but sometimes I don't know. I need to write stuff down before I spit it out. Frenchie, nah, he doesn't write nothing down. You know what I'm saying? So what we want to do is we want to engage in this activity that we do across the country. And it's called If I Was President. So the activity is, if I was president, ... And we want you to write, what's one thing you would do if you were president for a day? What's one thing you would do to make life better for everybody? What would be that one thing? You could think about the arts, or you could just think about quality of life. But we want to see a range of things. And what Frenchie's going to do, he's going to put on a beat, and he's going to take your answers, and he's going to throw them in there. See what he can do. Take it away, Frenchie.
So check this out. In life, we walk outside with a plan and we think we know what we're gonna do. Everybody had their plan in February. Then March came around last year, and we saw what happened to plans, right? So we all have to sharpen our swords in terms of being able to improvise and just roll with the punches when life happens. So, like Hector said, I'm gonna play a beat, and I'd love to hear what y'all would do if you were president. But before that, I'd like to hear. Well, we'll start there, and then I'll add another question to it. Yes. Test, freestyling off my chest. I'm out here in LA, trying to catch that skana. Sunshine, playing my jarana. I spent yesterday at the Nobel Peace Awards. I'm out here rocking, yo, I'm out here sharpening my sword. If I was president, and I would never let us in. They never tried to let us in, but we came in with medicine. Yeah, I came with love and creativity. It's the fun of your video and nativity. It means indigenous to this old forest and indigenous because we still stay porous like a sponge, yo, we soak it in. Life is a reticent, life is a medallion. Yo, I'm coming like a stallion, I'm like a horse with my 4 legs. I got the horsepower of a new force waves. Yeah, force field. Yo, I'm coming yield. Yo, I got to promote peace and still steal love and respect for all my people. Equality of wages past the church steeple. We need that free healthcare. I swear, I want my grandma to have more to compare herself to, so her grandkids could come through. She can be all healthy and we could come through and cut you up like a Ginsu. I got to rinse you with that fresh water, got you rinsed through. We went through so many different things. Yeah, we went through so many things and we survived and we're still here. Medicare for all. If you were president, I would never stall. I would call you on your telephone, ask you what you want, what you need, who you at, who you be with. Tell me what it is, what it be. Take everyone off death row. Yeah, you heard me, take them all off death row. Let's put them on that life row. Let's give us all 10 years to life or 20 years to life, yo. I dice roll, I cast my lot. Yo, I'm out here freestyling a lot. If you were president, what would you do if you were president? Hey, what would you do if you were president of arts for the state of California? Where would you put your money towards? And would you put it to swords? Or would you put it to peace so the kids could draw in streets? And we'd have some paid family leave for all my people. My mothers, my fathers, and even those sheeple. Some people try to cast names, some people try to cast doubt. But all the people out here, you know what it's all about. So I got a question to take us to this next track. What is a lesson that you learned in quarantine? What's one thing you learned in quarantine? While we're on that tip, we got the last 2 minutes of this freestyle. Here we go. Yes. And I require everyone to write a poem, and I'm sitting here learning how to listen. So many things caught between us, betwixt them, like a fresh twig, so it's sweet and it's snappy. It's caramel, it's gooey. When it's all up in your mouth, it's so beautiful. The life is so suitable, the truthable is if you don't slow down, you can't go home or to your hometown. What's lesson if you learned in a Q team, QT, you be an MC, I be a family. Truth be, you and me are probably cousins from the same old town and across the border where my homie's from, Yaki at. He likes to rock a walkie-talkie and he plays plagiaristic melodies as he rocks it. A song by Ray Charles remixed it. Yeah, it took you back to Georgia and would take us to a new place so you could let us in and let us groove, so we could nod ahead and be in patience. Not being patients in hospitals, we could be healthy and we could be prophets and we could speak truth to until they lock it, unlock it. Take your future, unlock it. Yeah, unlock it. And I would need to go outside every day so I could have the grace of the sunshine in my A, B, C, the letters be so melodiously falling off the top of my tongue. I'm like, The Jackson 5 back in the day had me feeling so good I couldn't help but sway. I'm like a palm tree blowing in the wind. Blowing in the wind, we need each other. This is the outro tip. I'm healing is hard, but yo, it's still worth it. I can't take a dance, but I can move across the globe. Rock with me on Zoom and a robe. You could do what you wanna do, wear no pants. Ain't nobody seen you cause you're on that Zoom. Kind of romance and I feeling that self-care. I don't care. Aloneness can be good as long as it's solitude. Don't be rude. You can shake your hips like Hector does when he's on the groove, on the grind, on the screen, and he rocks it real mean. Yeah, you could see Julie's feeling it too. She's rocking her hips, rocking her shoulders, moving the weight just like a boulder. You know how we coming colder, even when it gets real warm. It's Southern California sunshine, keeping us true. We got affordable housing for low-income folks. Yeah, I'd stop running, but I got it a joke. So I look for music and art as a survival tool. As a survival tool, survival fool. Yeah. So that's it, y'all. We're so grateful to be here with y'all today. We were at the Nobel Peace Summit yesterday, sharing a song, and today we're here with y'all, people from all over California. And I just want to thank y'all so much for opening up this space so we can talk, so we can dream together, because all we have is each other. Not money, not wealth, not status. None of that matters anything when the banks run out of money, when the wells run dry. It's us. We will rise together. We will sink together. And that's what's happening today, is we're rising together as a state. I'm investing in what matters, and we're painting a future. That's the power of art. When life doesn't make sense, we make art, and we paint that future. When people lack vision, we give them a vision. We show them what our grandparents prayed for, that we, in fact, are the answers to those prayers. So get out there, feed your spirit, water those seeds, shake your hair like Hector's pompadour, and let's get out here and make some change.
Yes, yes in inglés, oui in francés, and obrigado in portugués. I wasn't born in Tijuana, but Mexico is my mama, and I'm working every day for a better tomorrow. From LA to the Bay to Central Valley, yay, yay, yay. Cafeterias in the house, because we don't play. And we just want to thank Julie Baker for inviting us out here to be part of this. We've learned how to also, like, we're facilitators, we're presenters, we're organizers, and, we've been on the road, and we've had to also figure out how to engage on Zoom, and we've also had to tap into our talents. Like, Denise never wears bows, but on Zoom, like, yo, that's cute as hell, Carlos.
She wears bows. I've seen her.
This is my paycheck face, okay?
You guys are so fantastic. Yeah, we so appreciate you. We so appreciate you for showing up here today, doing all this styling and sharing your wisdom and all your words and all your music and the movement and everything that you do. So thank you. Was not long enough, not enough people, because it was just the end of the day. So I said to Hector in private, I was like, we're going to bring you back next time. We're going to kick it off with Las Cafeteras. But we brought it home with Las Cafeteras today. So thank you so much for doing that for us. Thank you to everyone who participated today. It was wonderful. I'm a little emotional for some reason. Anyway, it was a great day. Thank you so much to everybody. Our team was incredible. Everyone who joined us, thank you. And I think you guys are going to bring it on home with something an incredible video called "If I Was President." Is that right, Hector?
Yeah,
Denise,
for the
Frenchie?
100 days.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy
Thank
the
you.
video.
We love y'all. Peace.
Si fuera presidente, si fuera presidente, if I was a president, if I was a president, si fuera presidente. Here we go.
Let me be the chief executive and settle the score. Stop working people till they raggedy, then asking for more. Open doors, cut the pipeline to prison that's been stealing our men. Educate the whole nation about the skin that I'm in. Black woman, stay safe and watch me do it again. Clear the cash, put the cash where it's evidently necessary. More than fried food and booze, open some libraries. Stand with my fellow man.
If I was commander-in-chief, I'd preach peace. A college education would be free. I'd close the wage gap and pay back indigenous peeps, and cops would have to live in the streets they policed. Teacher salaries politicians getting great favor. Raise minimum wage, no more slave labor. And federal officials can't be gay traders. Nah.
If I was a president, si fuera presidente. If I was a president. If I was a president, si fuera presidente.
If they ain't good, then what are we? Not just who we claim to be. Then we hiding under sheets. Honesty, integrity, that's what a leader breeds. Pull up the roots of this truth, put down some new seeds. A free Mia and my people shut down fighting for freedom. Dismantle the message that make you think it's cool. To tell a woman about her body and what she can and can't do. Break the glass ceiling and shine through.
I'm fair and balanced legislation. I'm instituting automatic voter registration. Next, I'm on the move, reversing mass incarceration. Putting more funding into rehabilitation. Expunging low-level drug offenses. Opening the cages and tearing down the fences. Ensuring that no person ever be illegal. And then I step down and give the power to the people.
No more war, no more fear. It's time to thrive. The change is near, yeah, yeah. Me gusta la lima, me gusta limón, pero no me gusta tanta corrupción.
My first lady would beat my mom, cause she'd smack me in the head if I was dropping bombs. Free my poor black and brown kids in them cages. Then go to Congress, raise all the wages. Finally buy a car, all cash, no lease. Then I to the mayors. Universal health care, no hesitation. Then I touch the 1% new age plantation.
If I was a president, si fuera presidente. If I was a president. If I was a president, si fuera presidente.
If this was truly the land of the free and the brave, instead of stolen ground built by the hand of enslaved, and if the justice system worked on behalf of the people, then maybe my leadership could create the future we crave. I'ma let the money talk, yeah, the reparations do. Let's rebuild the wealth and see what the next generations do. Funnel the resources to places the government orphan and criminalize their offspring for the hell on their baby faces. Screw, I'm trying to give them access to education and excess. Redistribute the equity so the working people checks less. Qualified immunity, abolish all them dirty politicians, lawyers, cops who won't handle. Let's address this. Liberate the freedom fighters in the private prison game. Grant the native nations sacred space on sovereign terrain. Get the people healthy food, clean water, hold the ice, and see what's possible when you let the poppers ponder over hope. It's like rock.
Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there, and keep fighting the good fight. Join us in advocacy. Join the movement.